So this was supposed to be the final video in the Hella Mega review series, but of course where I spent too long sitting on this album and seeing if my initial opinion changed on it, we've now reached the release date of Van Weezer, their next album. With Van Weezer, I'm going to jump on it as quickly as possible and not wait for around 4 months like I did with OK Human, so hopefully this series will actually finally come to an end in the next week or two. But saying that, I've said that like a dozen times now during this series, so who knows what's gonna happen. But anyway, OK Human. The band began working on OK Human in 2017, wanting to make an album that combined rock instrumentation with an orchestra. The majority of the album was recorded in 2019, however the band decided to shelve it so they could work on Van Weezer instead, because they believed that album would be much more fitting for the Hella Mega tour. However, when the pandemic delayed the tour, they decided that they would save Van Weezer for when they could start touring again and finish off OK Human instead. In November 2020, the band announced it was fully complete and officially announced on January 18th, 2021 that the album would be out in 11 days. Right from the get-go, OK Human is the most singular album in Weezer's entire back catalogue. Completely unlike anything they've done to date, the album trades the hard rock / pop rock sound that we know from them for more orchestral baroque pop chamber pop sounds. Musically, the album is filled with pianos, acoustic guitars, organs, mellotrons, and a full 38-piece orchestra. Inspired by Harry Nilsson's Nilsson Sings Newman and the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, it was recorded with entirely analog equipment. The majority of the songs were lyrically written by solely Rivers, which is a rarity nowadays. The first time I listened to OK Human, I thought it was pretty decent, but nothing amazing. And after a few listens, I think this album is really good. I definitely don't think it quite reaches the height of their absolute best material, but it's easily the best album they've put out since the White Album. Jake Sinclair's production's fantastic, and I think he does a really great job of blending elements of modern pop with orchestral sounds. Musically, most of the songs lead into the next one, making it a piece that demands to be listened to in one sitting, similar to albums like The Dark Side of the Moon, although unlike that album, it's not like every single song is interconnected to the point where it doesn't sound right if you listen to it on its own. You can still listen to these songs just like on shuffle and it would still kind of fit, but it doesn't sound quite as connected as it does if you were to listen to the album beginning to end. The orchestra blends perfectly into the music, and I think if they weren't in these tracks, many of these songs wouldn't be anywhere near as poignant and impactful as they are. Rivers' lyrics are very personal and seem to be very heavily inspired by the lockdown, and I think it works incredibly well. The opening track and lead single, All My Favorite Songs, is definitely the most pop-centric track on the album. The processing on the drums and the organ chord stabs sound incredibly modern, but the rest of the song is so extravagant, grandiose, and beautiful. I completely see the Pet Sounds influence on this song, as it has this very 60s dreamlike feel that Wouldn't It Be Nice, God Only Knows, or even the Beatles song All You Need Is Love encapsulate. Rivers' lyrics are great, singing about feeling conflicted in life and being confused by your own constant contradictions. There's a great love-hate dichotomy in the choruses where he sings about his favourite songs being slow and sad and how everything that feels good is bad. Its lyrics are fairly simplistic and on the nose, but I think they convey the emotions of the track incredibly well. Rivers' lyrical sense of humour isn't completely lost, however, as Aloo Gobi tackles a typical day for him and his wife that previously he saw as like a simple routine, but now he misses and appreciates it more. It's complemented by just gorgeous instrumentation with incredibly percussive strings, bright plucky acoustic guitars which sit on top of the mix to add this very shimmery quality, as well as one of the best choruses on the album. Grapes of Wrath has a similarly escapist feel, with Rivers singing about escaping from the world by listening to classic books on Audible. It's lyrically very silly, but I think it has this very bright and wholesome quality to it, and I really love that. The whole song is just super bouncy and fun. I think it's a really super sweet track. It's contrasted by Numbers, which is an absolutely beautiful slow song about personal flaws and inadequacies. Rivers' vocal performance is very bare and emotional. The usage of falsetto in the chorus is beautiful, and the chorus is just generally fantastic. The strings are super glistening and add an almost ethereal feel to the track, which I think is perfectly complemented by the huge drums, which make the track feel super huge and epic. Screams is one of the few songs on the album where it would be easy to see the song performed with the electro-pop sheen of their past couple albums. The groove of the verses and the huge catchy chorus feel almost like it was written for a different style and changed at the last second. However, that doesn't mean it doesn't fit at all. In fact, I think it fits incredibly well. The lyrics have an anxious view on modern day technology similar to OK Computer, the album that obviously it's taking its name from. Rivers sings about how our reliance on technology could lead to our downfall and the end of normal social interaction, and I think the fact that the album was entirely recorded on analog equipment with all orchestral analog sounds really fits in with what Rivers is talking about in this song. It's a very humorous but anxious track with a great chorus. Rivers delves into his own personal anxieties and feelings with Bird with a Broken Wing, in which he discusses the possibility of being irrelevant and far past its prime. It's an incredibly emotional song with this uplifting and huge sound. The chorus is especially epic and the orchestra blends beautifully with the pianos and guitars. Here Comes the Rain is the complete opposite with an incredibly bouncy and upbeat sound, the title being a nod to Here Comes the Sun and was written as an encouragement to Rivers' friend Sam Harris, who was seeing a lot of controversy at the time. It's this very sweet and bright song that I like a lot. The closing track, Brea Tar Pits, is a good song that musically sounds very similar to Aloo Gobi with the same percussive string opening. The piano work is great and the way the verses end with this bare delivery of hey hey before jumping into the chorus is just beautiful. This track has some of the best melodies and lyrics on the album. It's just a real highlight for me. It has an incredibly cinematic feel and it's just the perfect way to close the album. But the album is definitely not all good. There are a handful of songs that, although I don't necessarily dislike, I don't think are completely needed on the album. I'm not really a big fan of Playing My Piano or Dead Roses. Neither song is flat out bad, I'm just not in love with either of them. And Mirror Image is decent, but it's way too short to really make any sort of impact whatsoever. Overall, OK Human is a really good album. I love so much of it and I think it's a great display of Rivers' best skills as a songwriter with these incredibly heartbreaking, heartwarming yet eccentric lyrics. The production and instrumentation are all beautiful and create some of the most powerful and memorable music that Weezer have written in years. I've enjoyed all the singles from Van Weezer, so I'm holding out hope for that album. When I filmed this video, Van Weezer hadn't come out yet, but as I'm finishing editing it, today is actually Van Weezer release day, and I've listened to the album, and originally I predicted that possibly we'd have 2 good Weezer albums in 1 year, and it's kind of safe to say that didn't happen. Maybe my opinion's gonna change when I re-listen to it, but yeah, I definitely have some thoughts on Van Weezer. The Van Weezer video will undoubtedly be out very soon. That's like my #1 priority after this, so please stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching this video.